cover. Henrik Klassen on strike, straight delivery, and he just wants to push this one back, and Chahal fields it off his own bowling. So he ends with figures of none for 34 at the end of his 4 overs, and the Sunrisers Hyderabad 5 overs left to play are 132 for 6, as we are going to be having a change in the commentary, and we'll hear from Chavi Butts and also Charu Sharma, who are going to be coming in here as we have a change at this stage, delicate stage of the match.
Critical stage in the game. Rajasthan Royals have been on top of it, have been picking up the wickets, but there is that one big wicket still remaining of Henrik Klassen out there in the centre. But 15 overs, it's 132 for 6 for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Shahbaz Ahmed is on 3 of 3 and Henrik Klassen on 36 of 26. As I'm joined by Charu Sharma for Charu and Chavi Show.
I think Kitch did say it right. It's a very delicate situation. 6 wickets down, 132, last 5 overs. And Avesh Khan has turned into a bit of a bowling hero. And guess what? It's Yuzi Chahal who didn't pick up a wicket, but he's their catching hero. The ball was following him and he's taken all his catches. That's what you need to do. A bit of a hold up in play, as was it a call for a wide going over Shahbaz's head? Or was it, just a wide not given? So the Sunrisers say, well, that was over my head. And Shahbaz also assisted by the non-striker. Well, even if he does stand straight, I think Shahbaz is not that tall. So I think the call will be overturned. And it's a good decision taken, I think, not just by Shahbaz, but also aided by the non-striker, Klassen, who would have said, well, we'll take that review, because I feel from his angle, it's not the best angle, but you can have a pretty good estimate. And so another extra added to Sunrisers Hyderabad. They will cherish each run at this very delicate stage.
That run rate has considerably dipped. When we last left the Combox, we left the run rate at about 10.5. And when we left things in the hands of our dear friends Locking Kitchen and Neil Oja, they brought that run rate down to 6.6 in the last 5 overs. So Avesh Khan comes in once again, brings the ball into the left-hander. This one's been pushed away towards short mid-wicket and will be a dot delivery. So it's 133 for 6 into the 16th over. And these last 4 overs after this 16th, because now the projections are looking close to about a 165, 170.
Well, with Klassen there, I think you can estimate at least 12 and over. So that's 60 runs in 5. Well, the 16th has started. But, of course, he needs to have company as well. And I mean, no disrespect to Shahbaz, who can hit the ball a long way once in a while, as he just tried. Swings it, but straight to the one man inside the circle on the leg side. Short mid-wicket, went on the bounce to him, easy to field. That's just bad luck for Shahbaz. But if he can just, instead of swinging big, focus on connecting the ball to make sure they take a single, because it has to be Klassen who continues to go big. So strategically, they need to be talking there, communicating, and it's Klassen who should be telling him, 2 dot balls. What are you doing? Don't swing big. Touch the ball and run, because Klassen can hit the ball big at will. Needs to be that communication. Shahbaz must not play hero here.
Another short pitch delivery from the bottom edge of the bat, and the ball trickles away towards square leg, and is Donovan Ferreira behind it. There's a good piece of fielding, just a single coming from it. That's a super saver. $134 for 6, 16th over in progress, and Yuzvendra Chahal, with those 3 catches tonight, has found himself a cool moment. Sixteenth over in progress is 134 for 6 for the Sunrisers. Henrik Klassen, 36 of 26 with 3 maximums, no boundaries there, so he's only dealing in 6s here. And Shahbaz Ahmed, 4 of 6, yet to create that impact back of the length, and driven away by Henrik Klassen. That's a good delivery from Avesh Khan, right on the money. does not allow him to swing big, and drives fine for another single added to the total. With 2 more deliveries to go in this over, they've only got about 3 runs. This is just a bit of an impact from Avesh.
Well, he's bowled splendidly. A new hero is born every day in the IPL, as I was saying, and well, he's not born yesterday, Avesh, but he's really put in a very steady, consistent performance today. Very good lengths and decent lines as well. This one banged in short, but off pace. And Shahbaz once again trying to play hero, goes for the big hook, misses completely. And this is bad news for Sunrisers Hyderabad, because I don't think Klaasen and Shahbaz are on the same page or speaking the same language. Shahbaz has wasted 3 deliveries, and I say wasted because at this stage you can't give dot balls. And somebody's got to tell him, listen, don't play the hero, because you're the last recognised batsman as it were. Well, Pat Cummins can also get you runs, but has he been sent in with a mission saying you hit big, don't worry if you get out, because Pat Cummins will take the last few overs? If that's the call, then, well, I can understand that he continues trying to go big. Last ball of the over. And he pats it into the covers. That's bad news, because he will retain strike. Oh boy, bad to us.
Just the 4 runs coming from it. Well done, Avesh Khan. At the end of his 3rd over, he's finishing off at 2 of 21. He's got 1 more over in the spell. 16 overs gone. Sunrisers Hyderabad at 136 for 6. Welcome back to live action. Into the 17th over we are, as R. Ashwin has come into bowl. His final over of his spell. None for 36 on the day for him. It's 143 for 6 at the current run rate of 8.7. SRH are looking to get to 175 at 10 runs and over, 180, and anything over that, they will inch closer to 200. So Ashwin comes in once again off the pads to Henrik Klaasen, tucked away towards deep mid wicket. They're looking for 2 and will get them comfortably. So that's good running. And they need to pick up as many runs as possible from here on. Now they're on a bit of a timeline.
Well, I fear for Klaasen at this stage, because I don't think against Ashwin he will be that useful, especially the carom ball. Watch it. 3 balls to go for ending his spell. I wonder how Klaasen's going to take this. If he loses his wicket to Ashwin, he will kick himself all the way back to the changing room, trying to go big. He also knows that off a spinner he can go big. Depends on Ashwin now. How does he bowl? Down leg, catching Klaasen on the pads once again. They will run the 2. It's sensible batting for now. I don't think Ashwin's hit his best lengths today. Wicketless, but he still has 2 balls to try and come back into the match and go back with a wicket.
It's turning out to be a bit of a heavy over this. 9 runs from it already. And Henrik Klaasen, he's on 41 of 29. At the other end, Shahbaz, 12 of 10. Earlier in this over, he hit that 6 on the very first ball for our Ashwin. Bad delivery from him. 147 for 6 as Ashwin comes in once again. It's the back of the length into the body, cramping Klaasen for room. Has pushed this one away towards deep mid-wicket and will only pick up the 1 run.
Ashwin attacking the pads of Klaasen, and Klaasen refusing to swing big because there's a short fine. He could well try and swing it over him, but decides I'm just going to play with a straight bat. Shahbaz comes in for the last ball of Ashwin's spell. It's been a touch expensive because he did bowl during the power play. None for 41 for the maestro. And it looks like the medium pacers will have to come and finish this off. Henrik Klaasen trying to take it deep and waiting for the last couple of overs to strike it big.
This one slightly wide outside the off stump and just a slight dab away towards backward of point. A bit of a chase for Sandeep Sharma as they do come back just for 2. Good piece of fielding chasing that one down. It's a super saver. At the end of the 17th over, Sunrisers Hyderabad at 150 for 6. But for them, getting to that 150 mark, that one is another cool moment. So 17 overs gone, Sunrisers Hyderabad 150 for 6. It's going to be Henrik Larsson on strike for the very first delivery of Trent Boult into the 18th over, and this one straight into the side screen, and this one is going to be a maximum. He follows up with a wide to Henrik Larsson. He's on strike. He's on 48 of 31. It's 157 for 6. 18 over in progress. Can they get another 40 runs?
Yes, in 18 deliveries, at least 36-40 possible if Klaasen goes big. Again, short outside off. Smacks it down to wide over. Long off with. They take the two now. Maybe they should have pushed each other. But Klaasen also trusting Shahbaz to continue, at least putting back. To ball. And the reason that Trent Boult hasn't really celebrated any of his wickets today is because he has gone for plenty. And he realizes that his job is not to just take the wickets, but much more so to keep it tight. And he's been unable to during the power play. And at the death, of course, it becomes more and more difficult, especially when you have somebody like Klaasen there. And as a bowler, you do fear at the death because the ball is not new enough, it's not doing much. Slightly off length. And remember, the fast bowlers are not machines. You can go for plenty. Henrik Klaasen 49 from 32, sitting on what would be a very valuable 50 for his team, but he must power on from there.
There is a bit of a breeze that's blowing at Chipok. This one following Shahbaz. Trent Boult was moving away from the line of the stumps, yoked him. He was able to push this one away towards mid-on. They do very quickly pick up two. So good intent here, picking up those 2 runs. But still, Henrik Larsson is going to be off strike.
That's all right, but a double's never a bad set of runs, because when you say there are 18 balls left, you're looking for 36, a double's par for the course. A single, of course, sometimes can be obviously below par, but even that's better than a dot ball. That's what they must not. Give today, the Sunrisers Hyderabad, from now on, no dot balls. Very, very important. Rajasthan Royals will be aware that each dot ball is like a real gold mine now.
160 for 6. Slow, short delivery from Trent Bolt, and very smartly played away. Just a slight push towards short third as they pick up another single added to the total. It's 161 for 6.
Well, how quickly did Heinrich Klaassen run that single? He was halfway through before the ball reached the fielder. And of course, Shahbaz responded very quickly, ran across. Ashwin was the man. But instead of taking a direct throw, he sent it to the bowler, and Shahbaz had plenty of time to complete that single. So that's what we want from Shahbaz, not to miss a delivery, give a dot ball, but ensure that he gets at least a single, allowing now the last two deliveries. Klaassen to hopefully go big again.
So Trent Bolt running in on the pads, nicely flicked away. Good use of the wrists from Heinrich Klaassen towards deep mid wicket. Another single comes in, but this one after that maximum that was hit to Bolt on that first delivery, then the wide, that since then he's bowled really well. Trent Bolt, but that one is going to be a 50 for Heinrich. Klaassen, 50 of 33. Can he, and this is fabulous for him, can he be a game changer? So Trent Bolt, one more final delivery remaining in this over. over. It's going to be Shabazz on strike. He's on 17 of 13. 3 for 44 for Trent Bolt. As he comes in, it's a slower bouncer once again. Banged in short. This one's gone outside leg and will be called a wide. So another delivery here for Trent Bolt to bowl to finish off things.
Well, you can see it on Bolt's face. He is showing a little bit of pressure, and I'm not saying embarrassment, but he must be a little upset with himself, giving 45 runs away in his spell. Did get 3 wickets, so that'll be a salve.
This one's fuller, but just yorkered and played back to the bowler, and good fielding on his own bowling, Trent Bolt, and a strong finish for him with that dot delivery. End of the 18th over, it's 163 for 6, and this over with just that maximum coming onto that first ball, and everything else was just singles with one double. Could this be a match defining moment?
Wide square leg, and it runs away to the fence.
You're back in the game, Jack.
You're back in, and you're suddenly back in the game.
Come on, Una Cat.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
I don't think anyone was expecting that. I'm not
That was
sure Una
almost a
Cat was
flick.
expecting that.
That was almost a flick. He was on his knees outside the off stump. I don't know how he got the ball there. But
That's the CEO, isn't it? Or the owner's daughter or something?
yeah.
Yeah.
Kavya Maran. Yeah, that's her. The one who's
Okay.
tickled, suddenly he's on.
We need 2 runs here.
They'll get it, mate.
2 runs.
When you look at the last
We need
5
what we
overs,
want.
44
We want-
for 2.
I think we want 2
So far.
sixes for the game, don't
Yeah,
we?
now that is serious stuff. But
Yes.
even 44 for 2 with 2 balls left, this is most teams will take it.
Well, do you need 177?
I need 176 for the full
There you
win.
go.
Okay.
2 more runs.
2 more runs, you're good.
We are losing the bigger picture here, but fine.
Oh,
No!
it's hit by Una Cat into the offside. They'll come through for a single. It probably would have been a wide if he'd left it. It was a full ball just outside that tram line. They walk the single. Cummins will face the last ball. I think unless it's a wicket, I'm going to win.
And the other thing, right, it's very tough to be not greedy with that ball, right, that shot. You always think if you can get it wide off that point fielder, there's almost always runs behind him. It's 4, especially with that very wide ball.
Yeah. Well, Una Cat's done his job. 5 off 2. Some of the other Sunrisers batters, not so much. Hence why Una Cat's batting. Cummins 5 off 4. So he's had a handful of sighters. 1 ball to go in the innings. It's 175 for 8. What
Skipper
is
patch.
going
Finished off.
to happen? Cummins steps across. He has a swipe. He misses. The batters
Oh, no.
run, but they don't run. I don't believe this.
You failed, man. You failed.
I
That's
don't
outrageous.
believe this.
Why not take a run off the last ball? It's okay if you run out, right?
I think
No, they
Pat
didn't take the
Cummins
run. He sent
is
him back.
hoping it's a wide. I think Pat Cummins is hoping it's a wide. There's a review for the run out
wasn't
at the
a wide.
non-striker's end. Let me just explain what's happened. It's bowled. It is wide of off stump. Cummins swipes at it. He misses. I think he'd stepped across, so I don't think it will be a wide. It goes through to Sanju Samson. Unadkat, who knows it's the last ball of the innings, he runs towards the non-striker's end. Pat Cummins sends him back. The ball is thrown to the bowler, who throws the stumps down. Unadkat is going to be run out at the non-striker's end. They did not take the single that I needed for my cash sandwich bet to come in.
Good God.
Which is devastating. But they are going to review the wide. Let's see where Cummins is. He has stepped across the fairway.
But nah, he's well outside off stump. He can't wide.
Yeah, that's not
still
going to be
pretty wide. He's only on the line of off stump though.
It's
Nah,
not going to
He's,
be a wide.
he's come
He's going
down
outside
more than gone across, and it's wide of the blue line. I wouldn't be surprised if that was given as a wide. And why
I
the
would
fuck
be
didn't he
shocked.
run? I suppose if he thought it was a wide, he wouldn't run. But you should run anyway, shouldn't you? Assume it's
Yes.
not going to be.
That's the whole point. You miss the
He
ball, you have
should-
to put your head down and run. That's
Let's have a look.
Running.
I don't know.
Even
well,
back.
there's lots going on here. They're reviewing the
He's
run out.
run
The run
out.
out is out.
The run out is definitely out. It looked out even to the naked eye.
I can't see that the wide.
Oh,
will
so
be-
he's out anyway, isn't he? Because it's a
Yes.
you can be run out on a wide.
Out is definitely going to stand. Whether they get an extra ball is the question.
No, they're not
Out is
gonna get
definitely
an
going to
extra
stand.
Out.
Wicket.
And
Ah, devastating. No wide. 175 for 9 is the end of the innings. I'll run through the scorecard really quickly. It was an early win for the bowling team. Trent Boult picking up Abhishek Sharma in the first over. Then there was a partnership between Tripathi and Head, who both got into the 30s before they were dismissed. There was a big wobble in the middle by Sunrisers Hyderabad, but Klaasen was able to steer the team towards a sort of competitive total of 175 for 9. He top scores with 50 off 34 balls. Trent Boult picks up 3 wickets, but he was expensive. And Avesh Khan, star of the bowlers, 3 for 27. He delivered when it mattered in this qualifier 2, or as we call it on the cricket podcast, the sexy game 2. To win, Rajasthan Royals require 176 runs. Should be pretty gettable, but there's enough there in this pitch that maybe if Sunrisers Hyderabad do bowl well, pick up an early wicket or two, there could be a twist in this game.
It's about the middle order, I think. Those 3 people that I think have really stood well for Rajasthan this whole season. So I would say it's between. It will be one of these people have to stand up. I think I expect big things from Parag and Samson actually today.
well, it seems to me that taking a pace off really works. If you've done anything whilst you're batting and you know that, you should be telling all your bowlers actually. Once the ball gets soft, i.e. probably after 4 overs at maximum, you should be looking at taking pace off if you want to try and keep the Oppo under your score, because they did go out pretty well. I mean, they got up to 91 for 3. They lost 3 wickets until Tripathi was out, until Head was out. They were going along at a pretty good lick, and that's when they started taking the pace off. For the previous 2 overs before they got the wicket, they were taking the pace off, and the game sort of changed at that point. But hey, we shall see how they do. Go and grab yourselves a coffee. We'll pay about 2 minutes of a podcast because that's about all we'll get. And we'll see you all back here in about 5-10 minutes tops, I'd have thought. See you in a
See you
bit.
in the second innings.
Yeah.
Trevor Brunt, leading women's cricketer, leading men's cricketer, Pat Cummins. And then what I thought was interesting, you're in the sort of the second phase of kind of going right back to 1877 and sort of retrospectively kind of awarding the Cricketers of the Year, aren't you? Which
Winston
Kit told us
Trophy.
about. Yeah.
Winston Trophy winners.
Winston Trophy winners. Yeah, thank you, yeah. So, Don Bradman again, Alf Valentine, Jim Laker, Betty Wilson, which I thought was a very interesting one. But, 7 for 7 and 4 for 9. You can't argue with that in a test match. Enid Bakewell, Gary Sobers, I think 3 times. Bob Massey, God, I remember that. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
But then I looked at 2019 and I thought, can only be one result here. And it was Kusal Pereira. So had Ben Stokes appeared somewhere else? Or what was the was the thinking there, do you think?
It was a toss. I mean, it was very tight between Stokes at Headingley and Pereira at Durban. And so tight really because they they both added something like 70 odd for the last wicket with the number 11 at the other end. Pereira got 153, Stokes got 135. What swung it in the end was the fact that Sri Lanka had only ever won one test in South Africa previously. Whereas England winning a home test against Australia is obviously clearly far more common. But I mean, look, Stokes is, anyone who was at Leeds that day will tell you it's the greatest thing they ever saw. And they were right. But we had to make a call. We had to make a call on which was better, and it was literally the fact that what Pereira did was rarer than what Stokes did. But yeah,
it was.
Stokes is unlucky. Any other year he walks away with that prize. So yeah.
Well, or Jack Leach does if he wanted to be just the contrary. One of the things, if you sat with a piece of paper and you drew a mind map, we talked about connectivity. One of the things I think you've done quite really well actually in this year's edition is you take a central event and you can see how thinking springs onto other things. And this year, to borrow the Sky Sports phrase, you talked about the Super Sunday, and you started with that incredible day with Shamar Joseph and then Tom Harley, 6,000 miles apart, which in itself was a phenomenal day. But you then build the connectivity from that into a number of different areas that fit. One is the argument around playing more tests than 2 in a series, even if it meant going to 4 days, which is an area you are potentially quite controversial on. And then you get into the distribution of wealth, and then that leads you to the politicization of Indian cricket. Maybe in my own head I'm retrospectively drawing that mind map, but all of these things I can see them, how the arrows point to each other. Take us through some of the thinking there that sort of led you to what I think are some pretty forthrightly argued opinions.
Thanks. Yeah, well, the notes are kind of, in some ways the toughest part of the job, in as much as you sit down with a blank screen and you're thinking, what I write now has to make some headlines in a couple of months' time, but it also has to stand the test of time, so that in 20 years or so someone picks up that wisdom, looks back and says, oh, he wasn't totally proven wrong by subsequent events. So you're
committing yourself to history there, though.
Really, and I know that I'll have to justify what I wrote in interviews, so I have to kind of be on it. So I wanted to start. Wisdom Notes can get a reputation for sort of moaning about things. I wanted to start with a celebration. That was Super Sunday, as you say. But it made me think about how we're always patronising West Indies by saying what world cricket needs is a strong West Indies, and no one does anything about it. They just sit there and watch them wilt and fall victim to market forces and so on. So I thought that was a way into one of my hobby horses, really. Since I've done this job, is the unequal distribution of wealth and India's power without responsibility. I mean, I get slaughtered on social media every time I mention India. People think I'm anti-India. I'm not. I'm critical of
Yeah, we have one of our number who
exactly.
let rather feels that.
And Indo feels that you're pillaring Indian cricket and it's not fair. But
well, I mean, what I find very strange is that you criticise some cricket administrators and people get very patriotic about it. Why would you be patriotic about a bunch of guys who are enriching themselves? It's not anti-India, it is pro-global. That is my perspective, essentially. And no one can... I challenge anyone to look at the ICC redistribution of funds last year and say that was a good thing for cricket.
No, well, I'm totally in agreement with you on that.
That was the point of my argument. Now, you can jump up and down and say I'm anti-Indian, but let's look at the details here. I mean, India have gone up from 25% to nearly 39%. They don't need the money. They do not need the money. They got that's an extra $230 million. They got $6 billion for selling the IPL rights and streaming rights 2 years ago. They got $575 million for selling the women's Premier League franchises. These are drops in the ocean for them. West Indies' annual turnover is about 50 million. Can you imagine what they might do with some of that cash? So I thought West Indies was a good kind of an example of the way that things are unfair. And look, I get people saying, that's just the way the market goes. That's capitalism, mate. Suck it up. I'm like, we're a sport. We're trying to... If other teams fall by the wayside because they failed to tick your capitalist boxes, where are we then? So I accept some people regard it as idealism, and naive. I don't really care about that.
And yet
I mean,
we've
if you
just
can't-
drawn a very tight line between sport, money, and politics in one sort of neat move. But yeah, it's a fine line to walk, and it always has been. I think you walk it pretty well, to be fair.
Thanks.
In
I mean,
the way it comes across.
Yeah, well, it's tricky. I mean, you mentioned the political stuff in India as well. Again, that's not anti-Indian. That is questioning the desirability of politicians using a World Cup to self-aggrandize, and that's what happened in India. I was out
Well,
there.
yeah, I mean, I just think that India is going down the wrong path, isn't it? Nationalism, Modi, da-da-da-da-da, it all seems a bit, for me, OTT and a bit wrong, actually, but
Yeah,
that's for another programme, I guess.
probably.
Well, yes, and no, because I mean, there is an abiding image which I should not have in my head for that World Cup, other than England seeming to go horribly backwards and wondering just, the man with the faraway eyes, Joss Butler, having to front up another awful post-match interview. But the abiding image is lodged in me is Modi practically throwing the trophy at poor old Pat Cummins, and that poor lad stood there on his own. Go, what the fuck? And that just felt so graceless and wrong.
Well, it was great, but that's my point. I mean, that's I think that for me that sort of sums it up. I think it was graceless, and it was. It's the way that India seems to be heading, and it's uncomfortable. I personally feel uncomfortable to see it. I just think it's a little bit wrong.
Yeah, it wasn't the finale India planned. They had rolled the red carpet out for themselves, essentially, and sort of tripped over it at the last minute. Modi was supposed to hand over that World Cup to Rohit Sharma in front of 95,000 screaming fans at a stadium named after him.
Yes,
that was the plan, ahead of an election year. So it was all laid out.